the toughest players in the world.
Best players in the world.
The best players in the world gather once again at Casino Barcelona for the 50K Super High Roller, and the atmosphere is electric.
The energy this year is like nothing I've seen before. It seems like there's just people lining up outside the door. It's been crazy.
Sometimes there's crazy dynamics. Also, you'll get to witness players that are like going after one another.
It's just a competition thing. I love it.
Day 2 of the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona Super High Roller starts now. Barcelona is playing host to one of the biggest poker festivals Europe's ever seen. The record-breaking Estrellas Poker Tour main event continues, with the Super High Roller kicking off EPT Season 10. On day 1, all attention was on American pro Steve Silverman. For most of the day, he was in total command of the feature table. But then, this happened.
29, buddy.
45.
45?
All in.
One way to do it, I guess.
His momentum was disrupted, his stack decimated. The hand became a hot topic.
Daniel's on the button and makes it 49K misclick. He says it's a misclick.
Seen a misclick a couple of times.
And assuming the chip lead during the last level was Shandor Demyan. Hello once again, I'm James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton, and it's freeze-out time in the Super High Roller.
Sadly, no one can drop any more money in this tournament. But before the registration desks closed, former EPT champ Jens Kulinen bought in, and Igor Kurganov bought in for the second time.
Another player who's in for more than one buy-in is American pro Philip Sternheimer. He is now a top 10 stack, and he's at our feature table, along with Jason Mercier.
Jason went on an absolute tear at the end of season 9 in Monaco, finishing second in the Super High Roller. Hey, maybe he'll win it here in Spain. It's only one spot better.
Jason's looking to start season 10 how he finished season 9.
And I ended up winning the open face event, which kind of kicked off the festival for me. I went really deep in the main event, got 7th place, and then got 2nd in the Super High Roller event. So it was a really great festival for me.
He's headlining our feature table, along with reigning Barcelona Super High Roller champ Dan Smith, hoping to repeat his success. What are his chances? Well, let's ask the Oracle who predicted his victory last season.
I had one prediction. I thought Dan Smith was going to win, and he did. I think I was chip leader, and he was like 3rd in chips. And he had just been playing so well that I was like, oh, I'm not the favorite, even though I'm a chip leader. Clearly Dan is the favorite, and he proved me right.
Steve O'Dwyer may want to make some new predictions this year. He's top 3 in chips at the start of day 2.
What's up, day 2?
You know, I don't want to say these guys are the usual suspects for EPT Super High Rollers, but I'm pretty sure they all said they're in a barbershop quartet from Skokie, Illinois.
I tell everybody it's swans.
I didn't know Daniel was friends with the bassist from Monster Magnet. They say runner-up is just first loser, but runnering up in a Super High Roller tends to score you at least a mill ball. I think I'd be fine with that. An American equities trader who lives in London. What do you think of the nickname Bangers in Cash?
Nope.
Big time. His uncles likes it. Look at him. He's big time.
Well, those 3 guys are joined at the feature table by Andrew Lichtenberger, former EPT champ Frederick Yensen, the reigning champ of this event Dan Smith, and Daniel Alai. 40 players in total, 11 re-entries, that's 51 entries, a prize pool of nearly $2.5 million, and a first prize of more than $770,000. Blinds 3,000, 6,000, 1,000 ante, action on Philip Sternheimer. He passes. Steve Silverman starts the hand with 34,000.
He may be big time, but he's got a little stack.
9-10 suited, and he is all in.
Praying he's got live cards or just doesn't get called at all.
Lichtenberger doesn't call. Mercier folds the button. Frederick Yensen in the small blind has King Jack.
9.
And Yensen will 3-bet to isolate.
Still squeezing. Trying. Oh, I'm so bad at it. I thought it was a face card and it's a 3.
Rick rolled.
Smith folds. And Silverman is at risk.
That's a PLO hand. Hello.
He does have live cards, though.
And that's a great flop for him. He's now a statistical favorite.
So many outs for Silverman.
His 9 and his 10 are still live. He can hit any heart to make a flush. The turn card is the King of Spades. Yensen now an 82% favorite.
So there goes half those outs.
Yeah, that's King of Hearts.
Silverman looking for a heart. It's a spade. He's out.
The bad news is that he can no longer buy back in. And I guess at 50K for a reload, that's also the good news.
Fredrik Jensen now up to 370,000. As Steve Silverman, the former tournament chip leader, takes the walk of shame. Well, let's head over to our secondary feature table. Playing host to Jonathan Duhamel, Daniel Negreanu, Philip Gruissem, and Eric Seidel. 3 of those guys have gone to the flop. Gruissem with top 2.
Check.
He checks it.
Weird he wouldn't continue this flop. Could get Jonathan into trouble.
Duhamel with top pair, decent kicker, checks as well. Negreanu checks behind.
Daniel, why are you in this hand?
9 of clubs on the turn.
Check.
Gruissem checks a second time. Duhamel will now bet his pair of kings. Negreanu's out.
Still checking twice. That's pretty weird. Maybe going for a check raise. Get a little value and protection on this straighty board.
Gruissem just calls.
Again, weird.
The river is an 8, making the board even straightier.
Last chance for value.
Gruissem checks. And Duhamel checks behind.
I win. I win. Oh, really? Well, you have to show first anyways. Too bad. Oh, wow. You win. Oh, wow. Fuck, I would see. German.
This guy.
I win.
I win
too. Really? How can you win?
He just wanted to check it down and get the showdown.
Gruissem flops top 2 and never even makes a bet. What a nit.
Over to the outer tables, where Max Lansky is all in. Decision on Steve O'Dwyer in the big blind.
The old limp shove. What does it mean?
O'Dwyer calls. Lansky has king-queen. O'Dwyer is ahead just with ace-8.
Might look like a loose call, but probably most hands Steve's in bad shape against would have raised instead of limping.
Ace on the flop. Lansky drawing thin.
Things are looking bleaker for Lem than Season 7 of the Shield.
Deuce on the turn means we do have the possibility of a chop pot.
Ooh.
But it's a queen on the river, too little too late for Lansky. He's another early casualty on day 2.
I may have been eliminated, but please enjoy this bird flu.
Steve O'Dwyer, the beneficiary of his chips, now playing a stack of 765,000. O'Dwyer still 3rd on the leaderboard, sitting behind Fabien Quoss and Shandor Demian, who came into the day as chip leader and is still the only player in the tournament with more than 1 million chips. Big stacks for Demian, 0 stacks for Steve Silverman.
I came in today just kind of short, only 20 big blinds, and I knew I would have to get lucky to kind of run it up and give myself a shot. Disappointing because I, was the chip leader at one point yesterday, yeah, just unfortunate.
Okay, so even though I call Steve Big Time Zuggles, that's not really his Twitter account. Mike McDonald runs it, I'm pretty sure. It's funny, worth checking out. Yep, pretty sure it's Mike McDonald.
Back over to the secondary feature table. Action's been folded to Jonathan Duhamel on the cutoff. King 6 suited, he raises to 13,000. Negreanu's out. Donnie Stern in the small blind has folded. Olashemian in the big blind has 8s and 3 bets. And Duhamel shoves!
Big bluff.
Oops. He's been called.
Jonathan 4-bet bluff shoved and got caught. Now he's about to be like Olashemian sleeves, conspicuously absent.
Well, Duhamel flops a gut shot. Kings and jacks are working for him.
He hardly loses any equity at all.
One last chance to hit.
Yeah, now it's looking pretty grim.
He's busto.
All right, good luck, guys.
His last 148,000 chips are now the property of Olashemian.
How many buy-ins was he in for? Was it a lot?
Just the one.
Well, I guess when it's 50K to buy in, even one is a lot, huh?
Meanwhile, back at our main feature table, there's a new player coming in. Tobias Reinkemeier is taking a seat.
And he's dressed for P. Diddy's Labor Day party. Yes.
It's always Americans and Germans.
It's not a real high roller event if there's not at least one like 100% German sitting at the table.
Yeah, they
you know?
needed a German for the TV table for sure. Which one are we gonna pick? Like, there's. Oh no, we have a German already.
Yeah, but like I'm an American citizen. I just grew up in Germany.
I'm German too.
Yeah, you look very German, man.
In a high roller, everybody wants to be a German.
Like,
you know?
how, to what percent are you German?
25%.
Oh, 25.
Not bad.
You see, ethnically,
Well,
I'm
that's
like
actually-
50% German.
You can have dinner with me
That's
now.
strong, man.
Yeah.
You qualify.
I'm almost 20.
Shui, you must have German roots as well, right?
My dad grew up in Berlin.
Okay.
We can form like 100% German.
And then we can compete against Toby.
I'm gonna have dinner with all of you guys. Not all of you on the table, obviously. Like the ones that qualify.
You want to take us to dinner, bro? That's fine.
I think he meant to say he's going to have dinner on all of you guys, meaning when he gets all the money.
Raise and take it for Reinkemeier, his first hand at the table.
And so it begins.
Well, Sternheimer claims everyone in a super high roller wants to be German, and we've got plenty of Germans.
Germans so hot right now. We've got Austrian Germans. Germans who live in Austria and look a little like Patrick Antonius. Germans who have apparently recently experienced neck injuries and or hickeys.
You.
And Russian Germans. Yep, that's a thing. Oh, and of course there's American Germans, like Philip Sternheimer.
Well, Alai limped the button. Both blinds came along for the ride. Sternheimer, first to act on the flop, will lead for 12,000.
With a gut shot.
Reinkemeier folds. Alai also has a gut shot. And he will call in position. Heads up to the turn. 6 of spades.
No help to either player, and this really changes nothing about this board except for adding a potential flush draw.
Sternheimer semi-bluffs a second time, 23,000.
Semi-bluffing with the best hand, and it could work. No.
Alai chasing his draw, calls. The board pairs on the river with the 6 of clubs.
Ace high's not so terrible here.
Sternheimer checks.
Even though Danny's got nada, this would be an awful spot to check behind.
Alai decides to bluff the river, 43,000.
Phil's in a tough-ish spot, but this runout is not good for anyone who is drawing. Will he figure out that Danny told Alai?
Be honest, how long have you been waiting to use that line?
I used it like 4 years ago in the big game.
Sternheimer with just ace high. Heroes! And he's right.
You got it.
Nice read by Sternheimer. Alai was floating like a boss, and he picked it off.
Sternheimer now up to nearly 670,000. Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona Super High Roller and our Germanic feature table. We have Tobias Reinkemeier, the half-German Philipp Sternheimer, Ola Shemian, originally from Germany, now lives in Austria, and then the guys with German heritage, Alai, Lichtenberger. They're both out, but Jason Mercier, who claims to be 20% German, is still in. And we've got another new player at the table, Mike Watson, who is not German.
270. Nice work, dog.
Thank you, Danny. You haven't really done much yourself, though.
Nah. Did some good talking, though.
Well, I'm here to help you out. Don't worry.
It was a flurry of yo mama jokes unlike the EPT has ever seen. We couldn't even air it.
Blinds are up to 4,000, 8,000. And on this hand, we are going to sweat with Tobias Reinkemeier, who's in the big blind.
Olo doesn't sweat with anyone. That's why he ditched the sleeves.
He folds. Watson's out.
Showing the cards seems like a foolproof way to show everyone what you have.
Yeah.
Mercier and Yensen. And Dan Smith all pass. So round to Philipp Sternheimer in the small blind. And he will raise. Makes it 20,000. Tobias's hand is...
Looking good for a defend.
King 8 suited.
Yep, we can defend.
It's never easy.
Well, if Reinkemeier calls here, it won't be easy for Sternheimer. He'll have to play the next 3 streets out of position.
And we're 100% German.
There's the call. Here comes the flop. King 9-9. Tobias will be feeling pretty happy about this one.
This board's pretty dry, and we've got an okay top pair, so if Phil continues, I'd say our most likely course of action will be to just call.
Sternheimer does continue. He bets 23,000.
Raising would eliminate most of Phil's bluffs, and folding, well, that's just crazy. Come on, you stupid banana head.
Reinkemeier just calls. 93,000 in the middle. The turn card is the 7 of spades. Reinkemeier picks up a flush draw.
Ooh. Phil bets we are calling again.
Sternheimer now checks.
I think I like a check behind here best. There's not much value to be gotten from worse hands.
42.
Reinkemeier's betting 42,000.
Well, Phil's not going anywhere. Little trembly maybe too.
Well, his shaky hand manages to throw out a raise to 86,000.
Small raise relative to pot, but a big chunk of our stack. If we are losing, we can still hit a king that's probably good for at least a chop, and flush outs that are probably also good.
Tobias calls, leaving himself 92,000 behind. There's 265,000 in the middle. A blank on the river.
Not a great card for us, but it's basically the same as the turn.
I'm all in.
Sternheimer shoves, putting Reinkemeier to a decision for his tournament life. And he is in this tournament for 2 bullets. He's invested 100,000 euros.
What should I do, Philip?
In general, this is either a 9 or it's nothing. This is why I like checking turn and just calling a smaller river bet. Even though we're getting 3.5 to 1, this is for our tournament life. I don't know if Phil's gonna turn up here often enough with nothing to make this call for our last chips.
Reinkemeier with just a bluff catcher. What's his read on Sternheimer? Does he think Philip's bluffing? He does, he calls! Sternheimer tables King 9, he flopped a full house.
Ew, our outs were not live at all.
Tobias Reinkemeier calls it off and is eliminated.
All right.
And we lose another full-blooded German.
Bye-bye.
Ich bin ein eliminated.
Sternheimer up to 900,000.
Don't like taking from other Germans.
Something tells me he'll get over it.
Just how German is Philip Sternheimer?
The background is a little bit complicated, but I was born as an American citizen in France. My father was German, so I lived in Germany for 20 years until going to college in the U.S. Stayed in the U.S. for 10 years, moved around a lot. Philadelphia, Boston, Vegas, New York, San Francisco. Now I've been living in London for the last 4 years. I'm an investor at a private equity firm. A private equity firm raises money from pension funds or governments, and from that money we buy companies. We then try to run it better, and after 4 to 7 years sell the company. We take a share of the profit that we generate, and that's pretty much the only source of income for us. The advent of the high roller events was, for me, really, really interesting because high rollers typically play in, 2 or 3 days. Typically also over the weekends, or they start on a Thursday or Friday, so I don't have to take too much time off from work. So I really took a liking to those and started playing, a couple starting last summer. And actually here in Barcelona at the main event was the first time I met part of the German mafia. I'm by definition a recreational player because I got a primary job that pays my bills. So I think it would be arrogant to say that I'm at the same level as they are. They try to claim me as German because I speak German and grew up in Germany. I think other players that have gotten to know me a little bit look at me as German, but whenever it feels I can make a joke about it or it comes to my advantage, I pretend to be American or Danish like my mom, or sometimes even French, although I try to stay away from that.
So now he throws Danish and French into the mix. I'm more confused now than I was before.
We've got a new lineup at our secondary feature table. Steve O'Dwyer has called Vitaly Lunkin's pre-flop raise. He's checked the flop. Lunkin has top pair and continues for 22,000. An up and down draw for O'Dwyer. And he is raising. A check raise to 70,000.
Fine spot for a bluff raise. Vitaly will have to fold most of his air. And when Steve gets called, there are still plenty of ways to win.
Lunkin has counted out the call. He does call. We're going to the turn with 188,000 in the middle. It's another 8 on the turn, giving Lunkin trips.
Now, you may remember a second ago when I said there are plenty of ways to win. Typically, barreling again here would be one of those ways. Just not now.
O'Dwyer does barrel 118,000. And Lunkin
All in.
says it's red triangle time.
You think Steve will call, guys? You think Steve will call?
No.
Nice read. I, too, think he will fold.
He does fold. And Vitaly Lunkin is now up to 648,000, well above the tournament average. Well, let's head to the outer tables because Elke is all in and he's been called by Fabian Quoss. The cards are going on their backs, and the reason Quoss is smiling is because he's got Elke in terrible shape.
Let's not just completely quass over the fact that Elke was super short.
Elke in desperate need of a 3. And that queen on the turn has him drawing dead. And that river caught such a needle!
Was there really a 3 on the river? That's just stupid.
So Elke heads for the exit as we head back to our main feature table, where Dan Smith is the short stack, and in the big blind here, well, Paul Newey has just joined the table. He folds from under the gun. Philip Sternheimer
Bad boy.
will also pass. Shemian,
His shirt also kind of says bad boy if you think about it.
suited connectors and a lot of chips, but he elects not to play. Suited near connecting cards for Mike Watson. And he raises to 18,000. Ace King for Jason Mercier on the button.
Will he flat or will he raise?
He calls. Fredrik Yensen has Ace Jack suited in the small blind.
Yensen could squeeze here.
Just a call. The short stack Dan Smith folds his big blind, and we go 3-way to the flop. And what a flop. The straight for Watson and huge draws for both Yensen and Mercier.
Surprising you just checked the second nuts.
Mercier, with a gut shot and 2 overs, bets 27,000.
Kind of a weird bet from Jason when he could have had a free card to try to hit that gut shot.
Well, Fredrik Yensen thinks he has a royal flush draw, which is no good because Jason has the king of hearts, but he still has the nut flush draw.
And I think the move here is to just call.
Well, he check raises to 58,000.
And Sir Watts has now got the green light to 3-bet and try to play for stacks. But I think maybe this goes down the same way if he just bets the flop.
Those red chips are worth 25,000 each. So this is a raise to 200,000. Mercier is thinking, what have I started? He folds.
Jensen's getting about 2.5 to 1, but that's just a call, and he's probably going to want to see both cards.
All in.
He shoves. And Watson, with the second nuts, has to call.
Huge sweat here. I don't know that it was really necessary to go so crazy with Ace-Jack in this spot. Mad Dog looking to dodge. Yensen needs to hit.
Looking for a king or a heart on the turn or river. 4 of spades no good. Same outs needed for Yensen with just 1 card to come. He is the player at risk here. 6 of diamonds sends him to the rail. Yensen busted from his first super high roller.
Making sure he didn't leave anything behind other than a busted heart draw.
And Mike Watson, with nearly 1.2 million, is the new tournament chip leader. David Benefield also has a 7-figure stack. He's just got it in with kings against Igor Kurganov's ace-king. No ace on the flop turn or river.
Enjoy.
Kurganov out in 25th.
Kurga not gonna cash in this tournament anyway. Ship the chips to Benefield.
With Kurganov's elimination, we are down to 24, so it's time for a redraw, but there are still 2 hands in progress. One of them on our main feature table where Dan Smith is all in. Decision on Jason Mercier.
Whoa.
Mercier's calling.
No, that's
Sure, Jason's pretty okay with the fact that he's got live cards.
Jack 9 for Mercia. Smith ahead with ace king.
Getting ready to tweet about your victory?
Preparing a brag tweet about how you busted defending champion.
9 on the flop. Things looking good for Mercia.
Did I hit it?
I keep it closer to where it needs to be.
Jason, you think you can pay attention, buddy? You're about to bust your friend.
Smith looking for an ace or a king. No help for the reigning champion on the turn.
Yes. Not suit, but...
Yeah, it's a little late to start working on that flush draw. Jason, over here. It's time for the river card.
And that card is not an ace or a king. Smith is eliminated.
Game, buddy. Good luck, guys.
Weird.
Good luck in the main.
Defending Barcelona super high roller champion out.
Get him, dog.
Were you talking to me or?
He's a dog. I know.
But don't forget the Merce dog.
Finally gets ace king suited and just,
Jack 9's a pretty lucky hand.
not as lucky as Jack 8, but.
Word.
Are we redrawing?
Yes, we are, Philip Sternheimer. With Dan Smith's elimination, we're down to 23. Oh, make that 22. Vladimir Troinovsky's just been knocked out by Donnie Stern.
Kid's name is Donnie Stern. If you caught that look he just gave to the camera, you know the story checks out. Yeah, there he is. That is not the face of Donnie Jovial, is it?
Give us a redraw. Just need you guys to rack up your chips, please.
The last 22 players will draw for seats around the final 3 tables. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com. There are qualifiers every day. We are down to the final 3 tables of the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona Super High Roller. And after the redraw, we have a brand new feature table packed with talent.
This table's got super high roller regulars, rising stars, and Vitaly Lunkin.
Well, the table is headlined by the current tournament chip leader, Mike Watson. Philip Sternheimer is the second biggest stack at the table, but 4 out of the 7 players on the main stage have below average stacks, with the blinds now at 5,000 and 10,000 and a 1,000 ante.
I can teach you a thing or two, about knowing who people are.
I swear I feel like Ivy right now. I don't know who anybody is. It's like, hi, nice to meet you, Jonathan. You do anything? Oh, yeah, the main event. So. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Phil Ivey didn't know who Yensen and Duhamel was. This year I heard he asked Greg Merson to get him a soda.
We've got a battle of the businessmen at the outer table. Jean-Noel Thorel all in with 4s. Shandor Demian with aces. Thorel picks up a flush draw on the turn and spikes a 4 on the river.
Jean-Noel Thorel, more like Jean-Noel 4L, am I right? No? Shandor's stack absorbs that blow like the old stock footage of the guy getting shot in the stomach with a cannonball. And speaking of taking your lumps, this is a guy we've seen with a bunch of near misses in super high rollers. Oh, and rounders. Remember that in rounders? Rounders.
Well, Shandor Demian is still among the chip leaders. There are now 3 players with more than $1 million. Mike Watson leads with 1.2 million. And back at the main feature table, he is in the big blind. Action's been folded to Martin Jakobsen, King 8 suited. He raises to 22,000. Pocket queens for Steve O'Dwyer.
Gotta wonder if either of those 2 ladies has a bun as pretty as Steve's. Doubtful.
These 2 guys pretty even in chips. 2 of the shortest stacks at the table. O'Dwyer 3 bets to 55,000. Lunkin folds the small. Watson gives up the big. Action back on Jakobsen.
This isn't really a great hand to call a 3-bet with, especially out of position.
Why call when you can 4-bet? Jakobsen re-raises to 115k.
Yakety Jakobsen, don't talk Backobsen. Normally, I think this is an okay play against an aggressive player, but with their stack sizes, this is what the kids like to call high variance, which means it leaves a little more up to chance.
All in.
O'Dwyer shoves.
4-bet fail.
Jakobsen folds.
Very nice hand, Samurai Steve.
This year, yeah, I think I've done pretty well this year. The grand final, obviously, I was not too thrilled to finally make such a really prestigious final table and then have it be the toughest final table ever. Now that I've won it, it's kind of sweet that I won it against such tough competition. It was nice to win. And I just, for the next several weeks, I didn't do anything other than sleep. It was just, all the adrenaline once it's gone is, really takes a lot out of you. You have to really take a long time to recover. It was a good experience, and I'd like to do it again. Glad to be back at the EPT, where I'm pretty lucky. These are the tournaments that are the most exciting.
Steve said he slept for 2 weeks after the grand final. I would imagine it's probably pretty comfortable on top of a giant pile of money.
Over to our secondary feature table, which has a strong Germanic presence. Phil Gruissem has raised from the cutoff with ace-jack. Decision on Fabian Quoss in the small blind. He is going to 3-bet with queen 10 suited, makes it 55,000.
Quossing it.
Adams folds the big, action back on Gruissem.
Gruissem could have been opening pretty much any two from that position, but he's probably not calling with just any two.
To the flop we go. And that flop is Jack 10-4. Top pair for Gruissem, second pair for Quoss.
What's up with that scarf? You think later he's going to a costume party?
He's first to speak. Does not continue though, he checks to Gruissem.
I like the check. You don't always have to continue, and this is a good spot to check call. Decide what to do in the turn when you have a little more information.
Gruissem with top pair, top kicker. Will value bet 50,000.
Even though we know Quoss is behind, a call here is fine.
And he does call. 227,000 in the middle. 6 of spades on the turn. Now 2 flush draws out there. Quoss checks a second time.
Now Quoss can start thinking about folding when the Gruissem ball bets again.
Philip doesn't bet again. He checks behind.
Really tight check if he's being cautious. Sorry, cautious.
2 of clubs on the river, so the flop flush draw got there. Quoss checks a third time.
Once Fabian checks, this becomes an easy value bet.
75,000.
Phil just bet almost half of his remaining stack. That should look pretty strong.
Quoss calls. And loses a decent-sized pot to Phil Gruissem.
Wow, Quoss pays him off. I'm not sure how often Phil's gonna be bluffing with that line. Guess it's just Merry Christmas from Santa Quoss.
Back to the main feature table. Jason Mercier is folded under the gun. Actions on Philip Sternheimer, who's got pocket kings. He raises to 22,000. Jakobsen folds. O'Dwyer is out. Vitaly Lunkin's got queens.
See you at the river.
3-bet to 56,000. Watson folds the small blind. Negreanu folds the big blind. It's back on Sternheimer.
Both these guys should be looking to get it in. This is a really tiny 3-bet from Lunkin, so we may see another small 4-bet rather than a straight shove.
Sure enough, a small 4-bet from Sternheimer to 132,000.
Now, I know Vitaly is older and all, but there's no way he folds this, right?
Well, this is weird. A 5-bet from Lunkin. It's not a shove, but it is a virtual all-in. Most of his chips have just gone across the line.
And is Phil Sternheimer Hollywooding, or is he genuinely getting sick in the gutty works over there? You got kings, bruh.
And then he got like 200.
200 sentence trail offs? Yes, just 199 more to go.
Like 300 behind.
Oh, he was counting.
Surely they're going to get the rest in here.
I think that was a legit groan. Talk about first world problems.
There aren't many players that would be taking this long against.
Wow, this is a legit decision. Somebody deloused the bakery because this is one hell of a knit roll.
I guess he thinks Lunkin never 5-bets with anything less than aces.
Well, Tolly,
you got one of two hands, I guess, or maybe three.
And you're crushing all but one of them.
So I gotta think about it a bit more. You show me if I fold?
I know there's a chance that Lunkin shows up with aces, but you're never folding here.
All right, boys.
Well, Sternheimer has only called. He's left himself 61k behind.
Okay, I'm gonna go all in blind.
That would have been way more dramatic had it actually been all in.
Well, I think the rest is about to go in.
I'm gonna blind. It's not too late to fold.
Sure enough, he's betting 61,000 blind before a flop is dealt, and Lunkin has called.
Can we turn him over now or wait till the flop?
Announcer, are you calling? Yeah.
Boy, is this table going to be surprised when they see him turn over those kings.
And Lunkin shows the queens.
Pocket Kings has a Heimer lock on this hand. Why is he standing up, though?
Well, officially, he is the player at risk, even though he is an 82% favorite here.
What are you thinking about?
Vitaly, you couldn't easily have aces there, you know? I respect your play.
This pot is worth 1.45 million.
Oh.
There's a queen! There's two of them!
Not bad.
Quads for Lunkin!
Wow, that was grosser than when your shoelace comes undone in a public bathroom.
Not bad.
Hold on, he can still hit running kings.
Sternheimer with less than 1% equity. And now drawing dead. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed death by quads.
That is horrible. Totally makes me want to vom. Sternheimer was in for 100K too. Phil, it's okay if you want to cry. No judgment here. This is a safe place.
Good luck, yeah. Good luck with the chips. Mike, good luck.
What are you going to do, bud?
What are you going to do, yeah? Good luck, okay?
As Sternheimer exits the stage, Vitaly Lunkin becomes the new tournament chip leader. Time for Sternheimer to spread the word. Hashtag death by quads.
No, what happened? All in, like a 1.5, 1.4 million flop. Kings against queens. Kings, flop is queen, queen.
It's so brutal.
I have a question for the tweeps. Does the fact that Phil stuck 100K make that bad beat story remotely excusable? Hash your tweets, EPT.
Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona Super High Roller, where we've just lost one of the big stacks, Philip Sternheimer, in rather spectacular fashion.
I've played with Vitaly a little bit, and my assessment of him as a person is that he doesn't mess around a lot. Vitaly 5-bets all in there, essentially for his tournament life. He either has queens, ace-king, or aces. I wanted to think about if there's a chance that he would bet so much and raise so much with aces. Well, Vitaly, you got one of two hands, I guess, or maybe three. And try to get, physical read of him and whatnot. So I gotta think about it a bit more. I did take my time. I was fairly certain I was ahead, and I was, up until the flop.
Not bad.
I didn't have a great feel. I actually stood up from my seat, and then I reminded myself, why should I be standing up? I should be sitting down because I'm supposed to win this hand. I'm not that disappointed about the hand. I would have played quite well today. Got all the money in for a chip leading pot, being 80% favorite. So everything else is up to the poker gods. And they did not like my haircut, I think.
Yeah, Vitaly, Daniel, Seidel, I think the poker gods may be partial to a little male pattern baldness.
Blinds up to 6,000, 12,000 with a 2,000 ante. Action on Jason Mercier. He folds. Martin Jakobsen has ace-7 on the button, and he raises to 25,000. Steve O'Dwyer folds the small blind. Vitaly Lunkin, chip leader in the big blind, has king-jack suited.
Well, this is a pretty sweet hand to take a flop with.
And he's got a lot of chips to play with.
He's gonna get there eventually. There you go, Vitaly, you got it.
The flop is king 7-3. Jakobsen with second pair, Lunkin with top pair. Lunkin checks.
I think I like a check back here most of the time.
Jakobsen also has backdoor diamonds working for him.
And he is not going to check back.
He c-bets 30,000.
It's tough to get many better hands to fold on a board like this. Everything's eights through a king is probably calling.
Lunkin does not call. He check raises enough to put Jakobsen all in.
Sick level by Lunkin. He's really hoping Martin will call it off with worse. Jakobsen is not getting very good odds, and he's not going to be ahead often enough to make this call. He's really only beating naked draws and pure bluffs, and there aren't a ton of draws out there.
Jakobsen calls!
Wow, he does have outs, but Vitaly's been running pretty dang good today.
Jakobsen's immediate outs, aces and sevens.
And if the poker gods stick to their favorites, Martin Jakobsen's full head of hair doesn't have a shot. There's our boy.
Lunkin a 75% favorite. Well, it's a diamond on the turn. Jakobsen's equity increases. He can now hit any ace, any seven, or any diamond. The river is the six of clubs. Martin Jakobsen is eliminated.
Vitaly Lunkin is an unstoppable rebel force.
Go back, ace.
Jakobsen gets to join Philip Sternheimer on the rail. Two beautiful men.
Good game, brother.
Hey, you and Phil Sternheimer, I just realized, are both dreamboats. Maybe you could do a sexy calendar to earn your buy-ins back. I'd buy it. What?
Vitaly Lunkin could be Mr. December. We don't often see Lunkin on the EPT, but he is a tournament circuit regular. He's actually third on the Russian all-time money list.
And Sorel Mitzi used to rub him for luck, which, by the way, isn't a compliment.
At the secondary feature table, Martin Finger has raised from the cutoff with ace-deuce. Phil Gruissem has ace-10 on the button.
I think Phil's going to 3-bet here a lot. He's ahead of Finger's cutoff range.
And that is a re-raise, a 3-bet to 55,000. Fabian Quoss in the big blind has ace-jack.
Wakes up with the best hand, and he's ahead of the ranges of both of these chuckleheads. I'd make a joke about 3 Germans in the hand, but I don't want to cross the line.
Quoss, 4 bets. He makes it 125,000.
The cold 4-bet. Quossum.
That gets a fold from Finger and from Gruissem. Quoss now up to 821,000. Well, he and Philip Gruissem both appear on the German all-time money list. A pretty impressive list with many recognizable names. 7 of these guys are under the age of 30. None of them is older than 33.
That makes their average age 27.2. What a crazy stat. Who counts ages in decimal points?
Well, we included Olashemian on that list, even though he recently relocated to Austria. And right now he's being relocated to our main feature table.
Dressed up like his favorite Ninja Turtle. I'm Donatello.
So you're the guy who's been winning everything. I just heard about you. You won Partouche, right?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations. And you won a whole bunch of other stuff, too. You just keep winning. And you're 22?
20.
20? Jesus. That's crazy. You're 20 and you got way too much money.
You don't want
Buy a house, invest it, something. Save some of it. Don't blow it all.
All right.
Okay?
Good advice, I guess.
Yeah, you know, just here to help out.
Always appreciated.
Yeah.
No fashion advice, Daniel? Don't want to maybe say something about the outfit?
Back to the secondary feature table where Martin Finger is all in. He's shoved with King Jack. And Fabian Quoss, the original raiser, has ace queen. He calls, and Finger is at risk.
Martin is behind, but he's hoping to hit a king or a jack. Fingers crossed. Boom!
Here comes the flop. And it's Quoss who hits. Finger drawing thin.
He's gonna need runner.
He's drawing dead on the turn.
Sixes or us? That's the sixes?
Did somebody fold sixes?
Ha! Now he hits a jack.
Damn it.
Good game.
Yo, good luck.
Martin Finger, busto.
And the Germans are cannibalizing each other like the soccer team from Alive.
I like Martin. He's a nice guy.
Never a Quoss word to say about anyone, this guy.
We have another all-in. Let's head across to the outer table. Jean-Noel Thorel has got it in with jacks against Donnie Stern's queens.
Uh-oh, just 2 cards. Make that 1 card to come.
And Thorel is out.
Couldn't bink the river this time. 7, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm out.
Donnie Stern is on a tear right now.
Yeah, watch it there, buddy. Keep doing that. We're going to have to change your name to Donnie Begrudging Smile.
Not such a great day for Shandor Demian. Started day 2 with the commanding chip lead. Now in the middle of the pack with around 600,000. Back to the feature table. Action is on Steve O'Dwyer. Under the gun +1, he's got Queen 10 of diamonds. And he raises to 30,000. Lunkin has 4 deuce suited. That goes in the muck. 9-10 suited for Mike Watson.
Mad Dog just met his Caesar Milan because he has dominated.
He calls. In position. Negreanu folds the small blind. Jason Mercier in the big blind.
Is the Merce Dog also going to toss in his leash?
Oh, with ace-9, he'd also have Watson dominated.
Not a great hand, though.
He mucks. Heads up to the flop. Which is 10-10 deuce. Bad news for Mad Dog.
Oh, man, I haven't seen a cooler this sick since the one they used to freeze the Demolition Man.
O'Dwyer continues for 30,000.
I think Steve's plan may be to just bet. I think the best case scenario for Mike is that he just call. Best case.
Well, he calls the flop. Many players in his position will then raise the turn. 6 of clubs on the turn. Doesn't change anything.
That's a card neither one of these guys should be too mad at.
O'Dwyer betting again. 75,000. Will Watson raise?
You're asking the Mad Dog to stay on the chain. I don't know if that's possible.
He just calls again.
Both guys playing this as well as they possibly can.
Ace on the river. O'Dwyer going for value one more time. 135,000. And again, Watson just calls.
I really like both their lines in this hand. Mike's just calling the whole way was perfect. Mad Dog, more like Sad Dog.
But he loses pretty much the minimum there.
Yeah, unfortunately, in most of these hands, there's got to be a winner and a loser. The important thing is that Mike could have gone crazy there, and he didn't.
Meanwhile, O'Dwyer moves over the 1,000,000 chip mark. Well, it's time for another redraw. We're down to the final 2 tables.
Come on, guys.
Salman Bebahani eliminated in 17th place. We are down to the final 16. It was Donnie Stern who took out Bebahani. He's been knocking out players left, right, and center. And midway through day 2, he just edges out Vitaly Lunkin as chip leader. No surprise to see 2 Germans in the top 5. In the bottom half of the leaderboard are Negreanu, Mercier, Seidel, and former chip leader Shandor Demian.
Yeah, let's do this. Final 2 tables. Oh, so cute. They gave Livio a rack for his 3 chips.
Next time, the race to the final table heats up.
All in.
I'm all in.
All in.
Call.
I mean, I'd say I'm probably a favorite to make the final table, obviously, at this point.
All in.
Wonderful.
O'Dwyer struggles against Shemian.
20-year-old kid, you know, he's not really afraid of anything. Hopefully, I get lucky and make him afraid.
I can imagine.
Unbelievable.
And Seidel and McDonald look to make back-to-back Barcelona final tables.
You can go broke pretty fast in these high rollers if you don't make some final tables.